The Louisiana Department of Transportation announcing new statewide projects. Kenya Ross learned about local projects that made the list. Kenya?
That's right, Jennifer. The state DOTD is getting ready to work on exactly 22 projects, and 2 of those projects made the list in Ouachita Parish for lighting and new sidewalks.
These are technically projects that are, owned and maintained by each of the 2 cities where they're located. So in West Monroe and Monroe.
The Louisiana Department of Transportation and Development announced more than 20 bid results for statewide projects. The projects include bridge replacements, repair, pavement overlaying, and congestion mitigation. 2 of those projects are happening in Ouachita Parish. Residents can expect to see new sidewalks and lighting in certain areas of Monroe and West Monroe.
And what the cities have done is identified locations where they felt like sidewalks would be beneficial, where they needed some additional pedestrian facilities to be put into place.
DOTD crews will install lighting and sidewalks along Highway LA 15 and Winsboro Road. And sidewalks will also go near Highland Elementary School, specifically on Arlene Street. West Monroe Mayor Stacey Mitchell says this will help children living in that particular neighborhood get to school safely.
Well, the sidewalks will be on Arlene, and it will go from Wellerman, where Arlene Dead ends there at Highland Elementary School, and it will end at Elizabeth. So it will serve as a sidewalk, to the school, or anybody walking or riding their bike. But the children that live here in this neighborhood walk to school or ride their bikes to school. So now they'll be able to do it a lot safer.
And the total cost for the projects in the Twin Cities comes out to more than $2 million. Jennifer?